welcome.
Was that our cue?
Was I early? No, I wasn't early. I was totally on time.
I missed my cue.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
3, 2.
Hello and welcome.
She'd like to thank the Academy and her mother and father.
Thank you.
And tech support.
Thank you so much for being here. I see a lot of you are already waiting. This is Survival Coloring Day. Here come the gang signs. 7. Do you have the correct sign?
I can count. I am an engineer.
That's right. I keep forgetting. That's why you have this job on the show.
That's why I have this job. Yes.
That's right.
Keep track of the cameras.
Well, today is day 7, and today is a very special day because we have.
What are we gonna do when we're over 10?
Ooh. Oh, we'll have to use both of our hands.
Really? Can we go into like base 16?
Yeah, we'll have to.
Put up we can learn the basic sign language for A through F, and so we can put up A, 2.
Oh, how about smoke signals?
I don't smoke. Okay, we got a lot to do.
We got a lot to do, and we have to move fast because we want to spend
Because we're ninjas.
as much time as possible with our special guest. And we are ninjas.
I thought of another phrase that makes no sense.
What?
I was just, so y'all know
Oh,
that I'm like suffering.
horses rolling punches and all that.
Yes. What did we decide that was going to be? It was like rolling with the punches and then
punching a gift
horse in the mouth. There you go. So,
what's that one?
Well, I was, so in an effort to not sneeze and like be with my nose throughout the entire stream.
Like that?
Yeah, totally like that. Just so I don't have to do that. I was just putting like some aloe vera cream in my nose. And I remember this phrase that my dad taught me, which as a kid I totally screwed up. I think the actual phrase is to cut off your nose to spite your face, but I learned it as cut off your nose in spite of your face. Neither of which make any sense at all.
Any phrase that starts with cutting off anyone's nose
like
is
why
just
would you be mad enough at your face to
disturbing.
cut your nose off? And
I mean, they don't grow back.
Well, I think that's the point. Like you do damage to yourself that hurts you more than somebody else. But it's your face.
Yes, please explain this one to us. You guys were so good about explaining the other ones. It makes no sense at all. Well, before we go crazy with the guest thing, I will actually give you a quick description of what's happening with my coloring page, and will get me to start coloring so that I can do that while we have the guest on the phone. Our guest today is Megan Laura, who is one of us. She's one of the colorists.
She's not one of us.
She's one of us.
Hello, my name is Megan.
In town. She's a brilliant colorist, winner of several events, and she's also a molecular biologist. So today we have a whole bunch of questions for her. We have questions from the patrons as well. And you guys who are here with us live in the chat, please feel free to ask Megan questions as well. We'll try to get as many of them actually read out loud to Megan. We can't promise.
I can't read.
We can't promise that we'll get all of them, but we'll see how the conversation goes. She is a goldmine of information because she's so closely related to the field of research, specifically with COVID-19. So before we get her on the phone, would you please show them a flick of what I did last night on my coloring page?
I would love to. Here you go. It's a flick.
Oh my God, I almost choked to death. Coronavirus. Never mind.
There's a joke there, but I'm totally...
Oh my God, family show. So yesterday we did the We had a show yesterday, right? In the morning. It was such a long time ago.
It was yesterday in the morning.
Yesterday in the morning, we did the daisies, but I didn't get to finish the background shadows. So the flick that you just saw, I used...
Flick. I can't believe you say flick.
Flick, yeah, like a small film.
The motion picture, the movies?
Yeah, flick.
The cinema. Okay,
The
go
cinema.
ahead, continue. I'm distracting you.
So yes, we cannot get
That's my
distracted.
job.
The pencils that I used here were Graythorn, which is a skin tone color, as we learned yesterday.
Yeah.
Stink Bug, which is a Black Widow pencil from the basic set.
That should be a skin tone color.
That should be. Tulip, also from the Black Widow set, but from the Cobra set. This beautiful Lyra blue, and also this mysteriously tiny green Prismacolor. And today I want to use this absolutely outrageous neon orange for my stained glass up here. So I'll be working on that. Isn't that outrageous?
It should be an eyeliner color.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my job. Let's call Laura.
No.
Megan. Laura.
No. Before we do that, Della would like to know if you made your sweater, and if not, where you got it.
I did make it. I didn't knit it, but I stitched it together. It's a Franken sweater.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the sleeves are done by me with the little thingies. And this is also attached, and the cut is redone, and the back is retailored as well. It has a tail. So yeah, kind of.
There you go.
I didn't knit it, but stitched it. Any other?
Yes, Janine would like to know if the link to the charcoal is somewhere.
Yes, in the video description.
There you go.
All the materials are down there.
Tra-la-la. Jo Beth is here.
Oh, hello, Jo Beth. So good to see you.
And okay, so
All right, let's call Megan.
rules of engagement. If you have a question for Megan and you're in the chat, first of all, if you have a question for Megan and you're not in the chat, we'll never know. So come join the chat.
Yes.
If you have a question for Megan and you're in the chat, please type your question in all caps. I know ordinarily that's frowned upon because it's seen as yelling, but it's the only way that I'll see the things go by. You can also reference my name directly, but please just put your question in all caps, and I will do my best to feed those questions to Megan. We'll only have her on for...
About 20 minutes.
No, it's almost... So 12 to 15 minutes, we'll see how it goes.
We run 45 minutes now. Who are we kidding?
So after we're done, she'll also try to answer more questions in the chat if you have those available.
Yes.
So without further ado,
Let's get
I'll
her.
activate my magic portal of Face ID, and I will...
Oh my God, did you guys see the Monday show where I was a zombie? I was trying to activate my Face ID and my phone didn't recognize me. It was so annoying.
So I can figure out how to redial. How do you redial on this thing? Let's see. I don't want to block the number. Hey, look at that. Hopefully I'm calling the right number.
Call your mom.
Call my mom.
Hello.
Hi, is Megan available?
Hi, it's me. It's Megan.
Megan!
Hi,
Megan!
Megan.
This is Lisa and tech support calling from the internet. Can you hear us okay?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. I'm going to turn the phone up since we have to get you to my microphone. And cool. Well,
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Everyone is very excited about this show.
everyone's super excited.
You're welcome.
So let's start out by asking who you are and what do you do?
Okay. My name's Megan, and I'm a molecular biologist.
So cool.
I work for a clinical molecular lab. I actually work in a hospital. So we are treating real patients and giving out real test results. So we're not guessing and checking and doing the research side of things. There's no room to be wrong when we're dealing with the patients in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So on a normal day when there's not a global pandemic, we do other things. We do things, genetic things like screening for recessive diseases in pregnant women or things with cancer. But basically in a molecular lab, it all has to do with DNA and RNA. And we actually amplify the DNA and the RNA to detect it. And right now it's all hands on deck for COVID. There's not too much else going on. But yeah, we're trying our best. We're working day and night.
Well, we're certainly glad that there are people like you out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Outside of the terrible toll that this is taking on the world, do opportunities like this have an element of excitement about them?
From a science point
From a
of view.
science perspective, not like you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Like I'm trying to ask the question casually, but like this is right up your alley. This is what you trained to do.
It is a little bit. I mean, people don't even know who we are usually. You know, the VPs from the hospitals are coming in and seeing our lab because it's like, oh, this is where we're doing the COVID testing. And, oh, we didn't even know you existed before this.
For me, you guys are like superheroes.
Yeah, it does kind of like give us a little validation of why we're there. Like, oh, yeah, we can actually help people now. Not that we don't all the time, but we get grouped into the lab in general, which is it's correct, but we are a specialized lab.
It's very cool.
Nice.
All right, we have a long list of questions here. Are you ready for me to start feeding you questions?
Will you please also
Sure, well,
say who the question's from?
Okay.
I did want to just go over the way that we do the testing.
Okay,
and,
that'd be cool.
How a person might be collected if they do go get tested.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the swab is called, the fancy word for it is a nasopharyngeal swab. It basically is a flocked swab that's going to go up your nose and to a pretty uncomfortable spot in your nose. It's going to be where your two nasal passages meet. Then the swab will be put into a transport media, which will kind of preserve the RNA for us so we can detect it once it gets to our lab. And we'll amplify the RNA to see if that virus's RNA was on the swab that they gave us. That's what the testing is. It's called PCR, and that's the gold standard for this test right now. They are working on doing other types of testing, but and kind of correlating it with chest x-rays and other things that will paint a picture for the doctor. But right now, the PCR is the gold standard.
That is fascinating. I had no idea.
Sounds uncomfortable.
It does. It's a little scary.
It does.
Yeah.
It can be. I've never had one done to myself, but I have heard it can be uncomfortable. That's one of the things I wanted to emphasize is that we can only test what is given to us in this little tube. So the integrity of the collection is so important. And even though it can be uncomfortable to get collected, please let the nurse, do whatever she needs to do and get up in there to try to get the best sample as possible.
Yeah, it's not going to kill you, and it's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's worth the suffering.
It hurts less than a spinal tap, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Spinal tap, like just the image of a spinal tap, I've never had one. I don't ever want to get one. I might just choose to die.
It just
instead.
sounds awful.
I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, okay. So, moving on. Okay. Do you have any other information that you'd like to share before we get to questions?
No, I mean, I have a few other things, but it might just come up organically.
Okay.
All right, organically. What a great word.
Nice.
All right, so first question is from Madame Lori, and she says, what can you tell us about the peak that may happen in 2 weeks and why it will be worse and how it will come in waves as it goes through all the different states? And understand, there may be questions that you can't answer, in which case just say, I don't know how to answer that, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know about the 2-week time frame, but I will just say that the virus is going to infect people exponentially, meaning one person will pass it to a certain amount of people. Those people are then going to go and spread it to their certain amount of people. This is how it's going to grow exponentially. There's a term called R0. It's
R0?
R0.
NAUDHT.
Yeah.
Yes, it's R. It's written R0. And so this is that term of how many people will one person infect when they have it. The first studies out of China was that this was about a 3-ish person R0. But which they thought was pretty bad. I guess that's a high R0. But after a strict lockdown and travel restrictions, then the studies showed that it was about a 1 or less than 1. So the one person may not have even passed it on to one other person. And this is where the whole social distancing and staying at home and these types of things, because even if you are infected, it can end at you if you don't infect somebody else. So that's the reason for the social distancing, and that's why I think they're saying it's going to be worse as we keep going through this, is because it's just going to exponentially grow until we reach a point of there's something called like herd immunity. You know, that's usually used when we talk about vaccines, but herd immunity is usually like when there's so many people in the community that are immune or maybe have already gotten the disease and built antibodies to it, that it's not going to exponentially grow anymore. It won't be passed on as quickly. So hopefully that when we get to that point and it's not novel to our bodies, then it'll kind of slow down.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything that you would like to say to the people who are out there who insist on going to the beach or hanging out in parks or going to soccer games or just carrying on life as usual?
Yeah.
What might that be?
I think we all just want to tell them off, but
Feel free to speak freely.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but truly each person can do their part, and even if you do get infected, it can stop with you if you stay at home and do your part and wash your hands and things like that.
How do you say this person's name? Or is it just initials?
Ifke.
Ifke. So Ifke would like to know, how long will it take to develop a cure? And I guess I would onto that a question from Lisa that says, is a cure even possible, or are we only talking about a vaccine or preventative measures or like the herd immunity that you were talking about a moment ago?
I think right now the best hope we have for a cure would be something like an antiviral medication. So they're talking about doing clinical trials actually this week, I think, at some major hospitals. So they need to test like dosing requirements for it to actually do something. So what's the minimum they can give somebody? What's the most they can give somebody for safety? There's something, it's actually called remdesivir, and it blocks the virus from replicating. So, you know, that might be something that you would call a cure. A vaccine might be hopeful because the virus, it doesn't look like it's mutating very rapidly, genetically speaking. A virus a quickly mutating virus isn't very hopeful for a vaccine because as soon as you research a vaccine and develop it and produce it, then the virus is already mutated around it, so it's useless. But, and the flu vaccine, so this is why the flu vaccine, we have to get one every year because they have to try to guess what the strain is going to mutate into next year and produce it before it actually gets here. And, you know, that's why we have to get one every year, because the flu does mutate.
I see.
I did read that Johnson & Johnson announced a $1 billion project for a vaccine a few days ago. Yeah. But most people, you know, historically, it's going to take 12 to 18 months for that.
Okay. What are some of the very first symptoms? This is a question from Nancy. What are some of the very first symptoms that people should pay attention to?
And I'd like to add to that, Nancy also wrote, I didn't put it in the question, but she also talked to me about asking this question from a point of view of at what point should people stop ignoring regular symptoms that they would get from allergies, because a lot of people just discard that as, oh, it's an allergy. Or on the other hand, instead of saying, oh, it's just an allergy, don't worry about it, they should take it more seriously.
It is scary because right now we are in allergy season, so it's, you know, you second guess yourself. But I think the main difference is going to be a fever. So, and that's one of the main things that they use if they're going to test somebody or not, is do you have a fever? That's one of the main symptoms that they'll use. But a fever, a dry cough, a shortness of breath is definitely something you want to go to the hospital for. And I've even heard that it can affect your GI tract, like diarrhea, things
Really?
like that. But then also, I've seen studies now where they're saying there's a lot of asymptomatic people, which, you know, to that individual person, that's great that you're not going to have symptoms, but it's scary that you're not going to be that severe, and then you could pass it on to a lot of other people, because it's going to be different in every person of how their body reacts.
Right.
Why aren't there enough tests? This is another question from Lori. I keep forgetting to say who they're from. So Lori wants to know, why aren't there enough tests, and how do doctors determine who needs testing in the U.S.?
I can't answer that exactly because I'm not on that side of the equation in terms of the doctor. I do think it comes down to the fever and the shortness of breath and things like that. That's when they're going to test somebody. The amount of tests available, I think it just came from, it was a novel strain of the coronavirus. Coronavirus is not a new thing. There's run-of-the-mill coronaviruses that we've known about, and they're in some of our tests now. But when there's the new strain, we have to create tests that are specific to that new strain.
So
we don't want to tell somebody they have COVID-19 when they just have a regular run-of-the-mill coronavirus,
right,
and vice versa.
Of course, like the other diseases didn't stop.
Yeah. So the genetic code, they sequenced the genetics of the virus very quickly out of China, and so we knew what we had to test for, but it was just getting the tests from the manufacturers. They had to ramp up their productivity and create these tests. They had to go through emergency use authorizations from the FDA and things for us to be able to use them. And then it was just deploying them, having enough employees in their factories to even ship them. And I want to say that, like, a test, like, you know, the word the test kit or something like that, it means so many things. It's the swab that the nurse is going to collect from your nose. That's a piece of it. There's the instruments and the machines that we use in the lab that have to run the test. You know, they couldn't produce those fast enough. And then the actual reagents or the liquids that run the tests that are specific to COVID-19 had to be produced and deployed. So, you know, there's still not unlimited amounts. I mean, in our hospital, we are trying to be careful and resourceful and not run out of something. But that's why we couldn't just start testing people right out of the gate.
That makes sense. It sounds like things happen too fast and too strongly on a huge scale that nobody was just prepared for it. And I think when people are expecting medical professionals to have tests available, they don't really realize all that goes into it. Like, you can't manifest these things out of thin air. It's a complex process.
Yeah, and then there's other things that in the lab that we use, just basic supplies, that all of a sudden are out of stock or whatever, like the pipette tips that we use to do the testing, different things that we have to be careful of and make sure we have enough of.
Right. That's another thing that people just don't think about.
Right.
We are we wear gloves and lab coats and stuff in the labs, and I know the nurses are also using those things to go in and collect the specimens, and that's where you hear of the PPE shortages, the personal protection equipment shortages.
All right, I'm going to combine a few questions here. There's some there are questions in the chat. One is from Sherry asking, how useful are masks actually? Do they really do any good? And she's talking about the average ones that they can get over the counter. And then that combines with a question from Lori saying, surgical masks versus homemade. Any advice?
Well, they were saying that only 6 people needed to wear masks. And I just read recently that the CDC is considering recommending masks to the general public, because there's a thought that asymptomatic people, when you're talking and you're just breathing in the same vicinity as somebody, like the droplets from your mouth can get on surfaces and other people and things, and a mask would protect that. Maybe just your run-of-the-mill surgical or homemade mask might protect that. A homemade mask might not be as good as a surgical mask. It depends upon the fabric that you're using and, how small of a droplet that can still get through the fibers of the cloth that you're using. But it's better than nothing, I would say.
Yes, I suppose.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of information out there. I'm going to combine some questions again. It seems like there's a lot of information out there, and it's challenging to identify what's good, what's not, what's true, what's founded in fact. So we have a question from Lori who says, who can we believe, e.g. government versus news versus WHO and CDC? Then there's a question from Ifke about an Italian village in the red zone where nobody has COVID-19 and maybe they're all immune. And then Caitlin asked a question in the chat, what about touching our pets after the family in the house that I'm isolated from? And then one more where somebody else asks, Nancy asks, is there any truth in drinking hot liquids to stave off the virus?
Yes, I heard that also.
Oh wow, you really combined a lot of this.
Yeah,
so
you did.
there's stuff in there. So I think what it comes down to is, who can we believe? Is there this town in Italy where people are safe? Is there any truth in drinking hot liquids? But I don't want us to go down the path of asking individual questions, because then everybody's going to start asking questions about every single thing.
I think we can take it down to how can we protect ourselves on a daily basis,
or where do we validate information?
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Right. I mean, your general local news, I think, can be a little sketchy.
Sketchy.
They're not scientists, and it's like a game of telephone.
Right.
They're just going to pick what they want out of the information and try to relay it to the public and maybe create a little drama in there too.
Right.
So they might rely on TV ratings or something.
Yep.
So,
Eyeballs they sell ads.
Of course.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go with news. The CDC is funded by the U.S. government, so whatever, if you think that's the best way to go.
Whatever. ...
I would like to think that they're giving the best information possible. I mean, it's changing so rapidly.
That is true.
Even in the hospitals, we have to be so flexible because by day, they're telling us different things to do based on new information.
Right.
So I don't think you can be super cynical and say, well, they lied to us and told us this. It could just be new information came out and there's more facts and more things to go on. And then the WHO is another one that you might find reputable, but it's part of the United Nations. So it's comprised of a board of experts from around the world, or members of the United Nations. I would just always check your sources. So if you're looking at an article, there should be citations to where they got their information from, and then you should be able to click on those things and go directly to that source to make sure that they're using the facts in context and correctly.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend looking at BuzzFeed articles
or articles where they quote other articles from other blogs as people try to just stack on one another.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Like .org website.
Okay.
.org. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat from Elf saying, as lockdowns increase, I'm having cabin fever pretty badly. Is it okay for me to just step outside and get some sun? And if not, what alternatives do you recommend?
Also a good question. Very good
definitely. Question. I would definitely say that's okay. I would say exercise is great. All these things. It's just you don't want to go somewhere where there's going to be a lot of touch points. So
like doorknobs.
So like going outside and walking around your yard, or even like walking around your neighborhood, as long as you maintain distance from people, that's okay?
Yeah, definitely. And people may not think about the touch points. You know, you go to a park, you sit on a bench, you're touching the side of the bench, like things like that you want to avoid.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're not touching anything, it should be perfectly fine.
So hands in pockets.
Yeah, hands in pockets, correct.
Don't look strangers.
Don't look.
Yes, and don't touch your face. Kat says that she has a friend in Colorado who's making cotton masks for doctors. Is that helpful? Do they need an extra lining?
Cotton.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I was reading a few things about a paper that was actually testing different fabrics, and one of the ones that was actually the best, I don't know if it's the best to breathe out of, but they were using vacuum filters in the mask.
Vacuum filters.
You know, because they have, more filtration. So
Yeah, that's
I don't
really
know if
interesting.
When I was in high school, this stoner dude told me that if you wanted to smoke pot in your house and hide it from your parents, you could just stuff a toilet paper roll with bounced fabric sheets and exhale through that, and you'd be good.
Your mom is watching.
I never tried it, Mom, I swear.
Someone else in my class.
My mom's actually in the chat. Someone who isn't me.
But then you have the opposite theories that if you put on these masks, that people are actually going to be touching their face more because you're adjusting the mask and you're moving the mask and it's uncomfortable. And,
Right.
there's so many opinions.
That's true. I also. Oh, sorry.
In the last stream, I mentioned incorrectly that one of the guys I work with at Rancher was working with who I thought it was the University of Ottawa, but it's actually Albany University in New York, and they're making 3D printed face shields for doctors. So there's an article about that in something.
It's actually in the video description.
Oh, now it's in the video description.
Not in this one, but the
previous
video
one?
where you spoke about it.
Okay,
Yes.
so if
added
any
it.
of you know anybody with a 3D printer and they want to get involved in that, that seems to be helpful. They're plastic, and then I don't know what the actual clear material is, but that's working out better than I would think cotton would.
Yeah. I had a
They're 3D
question.
printing the
They're 3D printing the headpiece,
Okay.
yeah, and then the
Okay.
clear part is something that's readily available.
Okay.
I have another friend who's a nurse in Arizona, and she said that they're out of PPE and they're being told just to use a scarf.
Oh no.
She's not thrilled.
That's unsettling.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it could stop the droplets of somebody coughing reaching your mouth, but
It's
in
not
terms
enough.
of the aerosolized droplets in the air, that's what you run the risk of what can get through the fibers that you have.
Anything else in the chat?
About the hot liquid question.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, yeah, go for it.
But there is, I see where the thought comes from, because we actually do heat deactivate our specimens. So when we get the swabs with the liquid in our lab, we actually do heat them at 56 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's supposed to deactivate the virus. So I see where it comes from, but I don't think that you could, I don't think where the virus is in your body, drinking something wouldn't flush that out. I mean, it's deep in your lungs and in your nose and things like that, so I don't think that it's going to reach the virus.
So no pouring hot tea through a neti pot into your sinuses. Or hot tea with bleach.
Yeah.
Well, I think it certainly doesn't hurt anyone to drink hot tea, because I drink hot tea all day long.
Lisa,
yeah.
so
but not because I believe that it's a
No.
cure, just because I love tea.
I hardly ever drink hot tea, but as soon as Lisa heard that was an option, she has taken it upon herself to pump me full of hot tea all day, every day.
It's wonderful. It's also fall.
But it's actually really
here.
nice. I find it very soothing. It's nice. It's cold in the morning. Green tea is
Exactly.
great. Tea is really nice.
And it's
hydrating. Well,
hydrating.
it's not that I didn't drink anything. I'm not sitting at my desk eating spoonfuls of salt.
Yes.
Although,
Although.
those of you who saw the stream where I had the bug assault, fly killing salt shotgun, that thing has been very handy the last few days.
There's salt all over the house.
There's salt all over the house.
And dead flies.
And dead flies. Okay.
How are we doing on time?
Oh, we're well over time, but you said you don't care.
Wonderful. But remember,
I've-
after we let Megan go, let's keep the stream going for another 5 to 10 minutes so that she can spend some time in the chat.
All right, then we have one more question here, and then we'll go for maybe another 10 minutes so that anybody else in the chat can ask their questions, and then we'll end. Okay, so the last question that I have here is from Ivka, who asks an excellent question. Do you think that progress can be sped up if countries work together on their research?
Definitely. I mean, the more data, the better. But I think we're doing that. I mean, I'm not in the research field right now, but I think just from the sense of community, just within our hospital, I mean, everyone's asking us. They know that we're doing the testing in our lab, and they're like, "What do you need? Do you need, do you need this? Do you need this?" And I think that's the kind of unity we are getting from this. Like, we have a common enemy,
right?
And everyone's kind of uniting against it, and I think that they will do that. I think researchers will do that.
That's wonderful to hear.
Interesting. It didn't occur to me that researchers might do that independent of their governments.
Yes.
Because from the outside, I see that this country is developing a vaccine, and that country is developing a vaccine, and this country, and it actually seems fragmented. But then, of course, this is the news.
Well, also the governments take all the credit.
Yes. Yes, one in particular.
Yes, one in particular.
There's one out there who thinks he's doing a great job.
A government that doesn't need to be named.
Okay, that's it for the questions. Do you have anything that you would like to share with everybody before we let you go?
I think the take-home message is to just wash your hands and don't touch your face.
And don't lick strangers.
I will say that yeah, don't lick strangers. That's the take-home. But I will say that the washing your hands, it actually has a twofold effect. So the virus is encased in like this fatty envelope. Mm-hmm. So if you think about like what soap does, it takes grease off things and gets rid of that type of thing. So it actually will breach into the virus and actually break up a virus. So you're actually not just getting it off your hands, but you're actually
murdering it.
The virus itself.
Nice.
That's good.
That's
I think
satisfying.
that should give people more motivation to wash their hands with actual soap.
The only thing I got from washing my hands, other than I'm sure the sanitary benefit, is I got split knuckles. And now my knuckles are super dry and cracked. And
I know.
It's totally worth
I'd
it.
rather have split knuckles and look like I'm in Fight Club than the alternative.
It suits you.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, Megan, thank you very much for joining us. This has been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing you in the chat. And anytime you want to come back on, just let us know. We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
I'll be in the chat.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
That was so cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Megan Laura has left she's left the phone.
She's left the phone.
She's in the building. She's in the chat.
She's lurking around in the chat.
So we'll hang out for another few minutes while Lisa actually colors and talks about coloring. You've been doing a lot over there.
I did. I finished the stain class. I've been trying to show pencils without calling them out. So I don't know if you guys saw them. If you could see on your screens, because I know some people are watching on their phone, so maybe the screen is too small to see the little detail on the pencil. But I did use this completely obnoxious neon orange from the Prismacolor set. I used it on the stained glass and on the little flowers. I actually did mostly Prismacolor on this bit. I also did hot pink and permanent red on the little tulips. And for the frame, I used cinnamon from the Black Widow set and just a touch of black and that purple that I've been using all over the place that I think is called Tulip. Yes, Tulip from the Black Widow set. And my trick for making it look a little bit like there's a glow effect is that I also took the Prismacolor white pencil and I went over the edges, the borders, and the little outlines to make it look like it's glowing just a little bit. I'm not going for a 100% realistic stained glass effect, but I want that feel of there's sunshine and light and everything is just super cheerful. So I do want the little sfumato look in the background. I don't want it to be clean cut and with clear lines. And for the headdress, I'm doing I am doing this periwinkle blue. I'm about to add my mystery green, which apparently I do like. So maybe it was me who used it down to just a tiny pencil.
She's a sleep greener.
I might be a sleep greener. I might
Like
be.
in the middle of the night, and she's out here going.
With green. That's me. That's what I look like in the middle of the night. You guys already saw what I look like in the morning.
Actually, the dog barks in the night sometimes because she sleep barks. She thinks she hears
Not
things
not me,
outside.
the dog.
The dog, and then Lisa gets up and goes and like tells the dog to be quiet or something like
Yes.
that. And I don't know how long it takes for her to come back. She could paint the whole house green for all I know.
That's true. That's true. I might have used up this pencil on my own. Well, I also found this beautiful Prismacolor pencil that I can't read it because it's gray on gray. Does that say gray green
Oh,
light?
I'm not blind.
You're wearing glasses.
Vert gris palais.
This is the English.
Oh yeah, gray green light.
Gray green light.
Why does English sound so much less cool?
Yeah, French just sounds cooler.
You can say anything in French. I say they favor.
This pencil is a very, very pale green turquoise color, like jade when jade is really, really pale. That looks almost white, but has just a touch of green to it. Very beautiful pencil. I used it a little bit on the belly of the birds over here, and a little bit on the petals of the flower, and I will use it again on this headdress. So that's now I brought you up to date on the coloring. If someone would please bring me up to date on what's happening in the chat.
Lots of thank yous to Megan.
Megan was amazing.
And my mom's in the chat.
Hello, Mom. Tomorrow I will show you frogs. Tomorrow's episode.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Finish, sorry.
Tomorrow's episode is called Enjoy the Little Things, and we'll have some very cool things. We will announce an event winner in my Facebook group, Tom. We had an event that just came to an end, and there's a winner. Will be announced tomorrow. I will show Mom's frogs because we're still on the frog theme. Ribbit. And we'll do some other things. It will be fun. Oh, and we once again changed the schedule. You don't know about this. You don't know. We're doing an evening show again. From now on, we will have one fixed time. The people have spoken, and they want.
The people have spoken. It is a democratic world.
They want consistency.
Really?
They want the same show every night,
Really?
the same time. Yeah.
Well, who said that? Everybody, or just the people who benefit from having the show at the evening?
Mostly the North Americans.
All right. If any of y'all who are in Europe, speak up.
Yes.
Speak up.
The Australians don't actually care either way.
Okay.
So,
Well, whatever. It's not my show. I mean, it is my show, sort of. But it's not really my show. It's
it
whatever
also,
y'all want. We're happy
it
to
also
do.
helps me because having an evening show followed by a morning show just doesn't give me enough time to prepare.
Okay. Hang on.
Okay. Continue.
All of you who are watching, particularly all of you who are in the chat, this is very important. There is a person in the chat. I will not reveal who this person is, but this person has been homeschooling his or her children forever, basically. And in light of the fact that some of you are now homeschooling your kids when all you really want is for your kids to be out of the house at school, I thought that this person might be fun to have on the show as a special guest to talk about how not to murder your children or whatever.
This person is in the chat right now.
Well, so if you are one of the people who are suffering from kids at home syndrome, and you would like to hear strategies
if your kids are watching, send them away.
If you'd like to hear strategies for how to keep your children engaged, keep them focused, mix focus time with recreational time, or anything like that. I don't know if it's helpful. I don't have kids, but if that would be interesting, please yes or no that in the chat, and so that this person can see whether I'm wrong or whether you would like this person to speak.
Oh.
Not tonight, but in a future show.
And also in my Facebook group, Tom, the link to which is in the video description. There is the new album that I created for stress relief coloring. There are 2 pages there for kids. They're gift pages for your little humans that you are welcome to print if you have a printer, or trace on your glowing computer screen if you don't have a printer, and let your kids color. What else?
People are saying that they like this time. Of course you like this time. You're in the
Yeah.
chat at this time.
They like
the people
this
who are
time.
not watching the show right now might not like this time.
Yeah, see, it got complicated. But I think also with like the notifications not working, people don't get like at the end of each morning show, everyone's like, "Oh, I missed that show. I had no idea it was going to be a morning show," because I can't keep everyone updated because people don't get the updates in real time. It's an evening show from now on.
I don't mind. I actually like the evening shows better because in the morning
we have
I
so
just
much more energy.
yeah, well, yeah. But in the morning
I have so much more energy. And also, I think having spent a whole day socializing with you guys in the group and like picking up on your energy and the stuff that we talk about in the group and the coloring and stuff, and then I bring all that to the show at the end of the day, I think that pays off. Like we had a fantastic day in the group today. We started a new poll that's very serious but also very informative. We're a good family.
All right, I have a question.
All right.
I don't think there's anybody here from Arizona, but
Jobeth, I think is.
oh, my mom would like to remind everybody to please like the video. Click the little thumbs up icon.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Good looking out.
Click the thumbs up button.
Okay,
it helps me. It gives me a quarter of a penny. Actually, it doesn't. Watching my ad gives me a quarter of a penny.
No, the thumbs up button tells the YouTube algorithm that Lisa is producing something wonderful that people like, and it shows it to other people, which gets more people involved, and we can share the information that we have with people who aren't just part of our community, and we can grow the community.
Yeah.
But we say that every time, so most of y'all.
But
do that.
there's
It's
always
like the button.
there's always someone new in the show.
New person, click the button.
Actually, there is always someone new. Hello, new person. There are a lot of people coming to my group from YouTube.
Jobeth is in Arizona.
Yeah, I just told you that.
Who are you? Prank caller, prank caller.
I said Jobeth is in Arizona.
Okay, Jobeth, this is between you and me now.
Okay.
Do you remember the Wallace and Ladmo show? You have to. If you've lived in Arizona for any length of time, you remember Wallace and Ladmo.
I have no idea what you're talking
You don't. No, they don't have Wallace and Ladmo in Russia.
about. No, they don't.
So there was a song sung on the Wallace and Ladmo show. I thought it was like a worldwide public service announcement song about hepatitis. But when I went looking for it the other day on YouTube, all I could find was a woman with a cold singing it, talking about Wallace and Ladmo. So I would like to sing this song, and then I would like to know, first of all, Jobeth, if you remember it, and if any of the rest of you in the chat know it, and if you know it from your childhood, and if you learned it outside of the Wallace and Ladmo show in Arizona. I don't really know where this came from, but here we go.
Okay.
Me. Wash your hands after going to the bathroom. Wash your hands after changing babies too. 'Cause you don't want to catch hepatitis, and you don't want hepatitis to catch you.
Yay!
Right?
It's so catchy.
That's one of those things that is in my head.
But
so,
apparently it's like a local thing? In
I don't
Arizona?
know. I don't know. In the chat, tell me what's up.
It's a good song.
It's a great song. I walk around the house singing it. It's like singing in the shower. Wash your hands after going to the bathroom. Wash your hands after changing babies too. Yeah, Jobeth knows it. 'Cause you don't want to catch hepatitis. You can sing it like an opera singer. Or we should do like the Marilyn Manson version.
Oh, nice.
I can't even do that. Like I can't come up with that on the fly.
How about a Metallica version?
That would be like
You have to have
hepatitis hands wash you.
We love Metallica, but if you listen to their lyrics, some of them are just really badly written.
Jobeth says blast from the past. She remembers. Nice. And Kat says she's never heard it. It was an Arizona thing. Mom, did Arizona have like a hepatitis outbreak that we didn't know about?
That was the most adorable voice. You're like, Mom! Baby tech support came out.
Mom!
It's so sweet.
Yeah, there are COVID-19 jingles all over the internet. I saw one about,
there's some really
there's
cool
like cool
ones.
covers like I can't get no sanitizer.
Oh, nice.
I can't get no sanitizer.
There was the Stay the F at Home.
That was hysterical. I posted that on Rancher today.
That was really funny. I'll post it in the group.
Diane is speaking on behalf of the Europeans and says that we should have a show that the Europeans can watch live too because it's more fun that way. And I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Seeing as how I work for a company that has a European footprint and if you want, I can do the European show.
Maybe we can do Europe on a weekend.
Why would that be? No.
Or maybe we could alternate weeks.
What?
Do a week in the morning and then a week in the evening. It's just that going back to back confuses people. And it confuses me. I am completely confused.
Well,
this is my confused face.
So what we should have is we shouldn't have it switching up. I think that we should have like, the same 4 days. Monday is always an evening show, Tuesday is always a morning show, Wednesday is always a morning show, Thursday is always an evening show, so that the European people can. You don't like that idea. She made the frowny face. I'm done talking. I know that my idea has been rejected. What would you like to do, sweetheart? That's what we'll do.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we're sufficiently giggly, and I'm almost done with this headdress. Shall we wrap it up?
Sure. Mom says there was no hepatitis outbreak that she remembers.
Oh.
But she thinks that the song, if it was about the common cold, wouldn't. Wash your hands after blowing your schnoz. Wash your hands after covering them in coughs. So yeah, you're right. It's just not as catchy.
No.
Because you don't want to catch. What would it even be?
Meningitis.
The only image I have of meningitis is from Pet Sematary, where the creepy sister in the attic had meningitis, and I know meningitis results in spinal taps, so I had this association in my head of if you have meningitis and need a spinal tap, you look like that woman in the attic. Rachel!
I had meningitis and I had spinal taps, and I don't look like her.
Well, not anymore, because you're cured.
Yeah, that's right.
Yay!
I was a baby when I had it, though.
Rachel! Any of you who've seen the original horrible Pet Sematary movie with Clancy Brown in it?
It's not horrible. It's a wonderful movie.
And that had, who's the...
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, it had the girl who played Tasha Yar in Star Trek.
I think so. I think you're
Something,
correct.
Denise Crosby.
Wow, that was a nice
I am good. Mom, you
one.
saw that. I get that from her. Oh, we were watching a film tonight, and in a half a second, a woman walked in the door.
and her hair
she
was
walked in
all
the
over
door,
her
and then she
face,
turned her
too.
head away from the camera, and I was like, and I paused, and I'm like, it's like I'm
he
having an
wouldn't let me
epileptic
see
something or that,
her.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
Mary Stuart Masterson. She was in that drummer film in the 80s.
With the spiky hair.
And Lisa's like, how do you know that? You saw like half her face for a fraction of a second. That's you, Mom.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, on that, I have apparently had my tea quota for the day, and I am out of here.
Okay. Well, we are completely on schedule to finish this tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day. It's the final survival coloring day of the week. We will meet in the evening, same time, and we will complete this page. And it's going to be glorious. This page is it's really special for me now because we did it together, and it's been 2 weeks. Every single part of the picture that I look at, I have all these memories of all these conversations that we've been having throughout the whole process. So for me, this is a very special page, and finishing it tomorrow will be a very memorable day. Plus, we'll have some announcements and small videos and flicks to show you. It will be fun.
Megan picked up that I was able to circle back to Spinal Taps. She's very impressed.
Very nice.
Closure,
Very
story
nice.
loop.
All right, let's switch us back to the
Switch us back to the main thing.
to the main thing, so that we can say, Rachel.
Rachel! I don't know why she has dinosaur hands, but...
Because it's scary. We will say thank you so much, Megan, for your amazing appearance and for all the incredible information. Thank you so much, everyone who was here live with us. If you're watching this in the future and you missed the live show, it's not
There will
that
be a
we
schedule.
don't thank you.
There will be a schedule.
There will be a schedule now. Please feel free to write your comments or questions or emotions or anything at all in the comments below. I do check them every day. So just because you missed the live chat doesn't mean that we can't continue our conversation. I feel like it's constantly a live show, so we can keep talking. And if you're not a group member already, come join me at Tom. Our doors are open to everyone now. You don't have to be a colorist to be a member of our family. And we'll say goodbye and farewell.
Oh, keep talking. I have to cue the credits. I got all excited about, like, well, whatever. Anyway, keep
That
talking.
was so cute.
Yeah. Hold on. We're almost there.
Oh, and I would like to thank the Academy. I would like to thank the patrons for your wonderful questions. And I would like to thank the patrons for being my patrons, obviously, because you guys are awesome. And thank you so much for staying with me, regardless of how difficult it is right now. It means a lot to me that you're still supporting me. So on that note, we can
The
say
camera's not there anymore. Yes, on that note, thank you.
goodbye and
Be safe.
farewell.
Good night. Don't lick nasopharyngeal swabs.
Don't do it.